Hello and welcome. We are back at another Reanimated video. This is a series where we watch all the Disney animated videos, or releases in the order that they were released. And today we're doing Bambi. I believe this is the 6th video. If you haven't seen the others, you can go back and rewatch them, or watch them for the first time. Lewis, you want to start with some kind of facts?
Right. So, as Jason said, the 6th film we're reviewing. This is the 6th feature-length animated feature in Disney canon, released on August 9th, 1942. First time a Disney premieres overseas, and it's going to premiere in London. And then it's going to premiere 5 days later in the United States at Radio City.
Wow.
So this is like kind of a first for Disney, that the premiere is held in London, not in New York or Los Angeles. So good for them, right? And this is some groundbreaking stuff here. So again, as we're seeing through the evolution of Disney animated feature films, the films are becoming more technically complicated, with the exception of Dumbo, as we described in the previous video, for budgetary reasons. But this feature film here is obviously the most technically ambitious, and we'll get into that very, very shortly. It is based on the 1926 Felix Staton novel, Bambi, A Life in the Woods, and was directed by James Algar, Bill Roberts, Norman Wright, Sam Armstrong, Paul Slaterfield, and Graham Hyde. Yeah, Graham Hyde. And this marks the first time that Mark Davis is taking a supervision animation role as the lead animator on Bambi himself.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
So this is like, and as if you've watched any of our previous videos in the past, dear audience, you'll know that I think Mark Davis is second only to Jesus Christ as far as great human beings that walk the earth. So yeah, there's that.
Wow.
Yeah, Mark Fraser Davis is definitely, in my opinion, the king of the animators and king of the Imagineers, and like I said, he's second only to Jesus Christ himself. So there you are. I'm just getting my hero worship out the way real quick. Right. So let's get into the film. So the film received 3 Academy Award nominations: 1 for Best Sound, 1 for Best Song, and 1 for Original Music Score. Unfortunately, they're not winning Academy Awards this time, but they got 3 nominations, which is almost as good. So good on them. It is a member of the National Film Registry in the Library of Congress in the United States of America, as being culturally, historically, and aesthetically significant to the progress of motion pictures.
Wow.
So good stuff on them, right?
Yep.
And I guess we could either watch a trailer or I can talk about the development. And
We can take a little
this
break.
is some pretty cool stuff here.
All right.
So we want to break for trailer? Or? Okay.
Yeah, let's watch the trailer.
Walt Disney, the world's greatest storyteller, brings the world's greatest love story to the screen. Bambi, the story that proves that love can be loaded with laughs.
Who did this announcing?
What's the matter with them?
They're very rough.
Glitter painted? Yes. Nearly everybody gets Twitter painted in the springtime. It's not gonna happen to me. Me neither. It can happen to anybody. For example, you're walking along, minding your own business, when all of a sudden, you run smack into a pretty face. Woo-hoo! You begin to get weak in the knees. Your head's in a whirl. And then you feel light as a feather. And then you know what? You're knocked for a loop. And you completely lose your head.
Bambi, the story of a deer who learned that love means many things to many people.
Sounds like Zach
Parents
Brannigan
means
from
courage and
Futurama.
sacrifice.
It is man. We must go deep into the forest. Hurry.
Bambi's mate
This is not what I
believes
remember the story of Bambi
love is at
being.
once a tender and a terrifying thing.
Quick, Pauline, jump!
To Bambi himself, love comes to mean heroism and fearlessness. Here, surging out of the roaring forest, is the most powerful, gripping, romantic story ever brought to the screen by Walt Disney.
That announcer, holy cow. So, look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Bambi. Why was he so rough?
I don't know. He reminded me of Zach Brannigan from Futurama.
Yeah, exactly.
Giff, look, it's Bambi.
Now, if I'd seen that, I wouldn't want
I
to
would
watch the
never have
movie.
watched that movie.
No.
I want to watch
No, no,
Yeah.
no. It's
Bambi's
completely
about.
butchered it. Completely.
Man, I don't
butchered
care.
it.
10 million readers love the book. Yeah, whatever. I'm staying away from this.
There was nothing about the beginning of it either, like how
No.
all the friends met. Like that's
No,
half of that's
none
like
of it.
3/4 of the movie.
Yeah.
The last the
was
last of it
really
was
weird.
always like 50, yeah. I didn't.
Like, and
That
we
show
don't
was a bit
and
naff.
we don't see Bambi's mother at all, which is like
No.
No, no.
Or his dad.
that's
Yeah.
weird. That's
I'm sorry.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
wow.
crazy.
Yeah, I do not. I would tell you what. As far as trailers go, that's definitely a 1-star.
Garbage.
Oh,
Do
yeah,
not
yeah.
recommend.
Yeah, definitely. No.
They had maybe somebody else.
I'm glad it's a great
narrating that.
movie because that
Yeah.
trailer was
Oh,
like, yeah, it needs to get taken out with the trash. Right. Good time.
Yeah.
If I was Walt Disney, I would have lost my doggone mind. If I was Roy Disney, I would have lost my doggone mind. Forget it. Crazy.
No, man.
Wow. Holy smokes.
Excuse me.
So, any other facts you want to mention, Luce?
Right.
Yeah, that track
So,
was garbage.
well, we just mentioned that part. Right. So, so as we were talking about, so the funny thing how Bambi goes from book to big screen is we talked about Felix Slayton in his novel Bambi: A Life in the Woods was made in 1923. In 1933, a producer named Sidney Franklin, who worked for MGM, purchased the rights. Joseph Schneck of United Artists suggested to Sidney Franklin to collaborate with Walt Disney to try to make it into an animated feature. And Disney definitely was looking at Bambi because he had read the book and liked it and was wanting to do something contemporary, and Bambi was at that time very contemporary. So eventually Disney bought the rights in April 1937. And they began work on turning it from the page to the screen immediately. They wanted it to be the second animated feature after Snow White, but technical difficulties in mastering the animation process of wild animals proved enormously difficult, enormously tedious, and thus it had to be delayed until the 6th film.
Yeah.
So, right.
That's why you see, at least me, I see the same type of animation between Snow White and Bambi.
Yeah.
The art and stuff.
Sure.
Yeah, it's very similar, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. At least, yeah, to me, it like, hey.
No, I got this. Yeah, I got the same kind of vibe from it. Yeah, yeah. Especially watching Dumbo and then Bambi like back to back, you can tell.
Yeah,
very, very different.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So with the production process, right? So as we said, so by 1937 he bought it. Disney had bought it. They started writing on it. They completed writing by 1939. Or no, excuse me. They completed writing by July 1940, but they started principal photography at a small scale in 1939, August to be precise, right before the start of the war. Anyway, long story short, the film's budget had been increased to $858,939 at the
What's
time.
that in today's money?
That comes out to something like $11 million.
Wow.
That's still not a lot for an animated movie, is it?
No, that's less than Dumbo.
No.
Okay,
That's
again,
less than Dumbo.
Again, what are you going to do? I mean, I guess labor was a lot more affordable back then than it is today,
Yeah, the
particularly
look,
with hand-drawn animation.
like I said, the look though, especially in the beginning, those background paintings are
Gorgeous.
yeah. I mean,
Oh, I'm glad you brought up background paintings. I want to talk about that. This is the really cool stuff about background paintings, right? So, Maurice Jake Day was the background artist for Bambi. And they actually Disney sent him out to New England for several weeks to actually just paint backgrounds, paint like just landscapes, like you would a la Bob Ross. You know what I mean? And anyway, when he brought them back, Disney said they were all wrong because clearly Jake or Maurice didn't understand how to track certain things and whatever technical artist stuff, right? So Tyrus Wong, who's a Chinese animator, teaches Gay how to paint backgrounds. And this is the cool thing with Wong's painting was that Wong left it soft at the edges and brought detail closer and closer and closer to the center, where it was very, very sharp detail, which provided a brilliant contrast to the animated characters that were going to go into the actual scene.
Yeah.
So very cool, like technical achievement here is that, and again, I mean, in what we're starting to see as a tradition is that Disney has no problem with employing what at the time were the marginalized and minorities and the making of these like big deal, big budget motion pictures. I mean, so props again to the forward thinking of Walt Disney to utilize the talent of everybody to bring this together. I mean, rock on Walt Disney, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, if he did one thing great, it was to bring the right people in at the right time.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
like
for sure,
was able
definitely.
to like marshal all this wonderful talent into a
I mean, not even just
civilization
that,
and make
but
them
Imagineers and everything, like, you know,
Absolutely.
picking people.
like such amazing talent. Absolutely. I mean, Joe Fowler, for example, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, clearly, you know, with a military background in construction. I mean, the guy was an absolute pro.
Yeah.
Joe Butler, again, another masterful builder. You know, I mean, like, yes, Walt Disney definitely knew how to pick his talent accordingly to do whatever project he desired. So good on Walt Disney for this, you know. Like we're talking about with the animation, right? So I clearly talked about Mark Fraser days. It was his supervision animation of the primary character Bambi, our young prince, if you will, of the forest. Disney had set up a petting zoo at the studio where they had two fawns, which are young deer, and he had rabbits and ducks and skunks and all other means of small woodland creatures for the animators to draw inspiration from and to study movement. So that's like really, really cool.
Yeah. And again,
he
it's just
did
going
that.
above and beyond, like, for that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So then they could get, then it looks more fluid and looks more, getting those movements right, which, you know, obviously there was still learning even back then with that kind of stuff. So it needed to be done to understand how, you know, how the animals moved and how it all came to be. And Bambi's a beautiful movie. It really, really is. Like, I kind of forgot how pretty it was. And it's done very, very well. Like the background is what kind of like stands out to me because of like how it was done and how it's brought it all together. It's very, very nice for sure.
Well, this also leads to a big departure from what we've seen so far. Is that what we've seen up to this point has been fantasy, right? We've seen elements of fantasy in all 6 of the films, from Snow White to The Reluctant Dragon, or to Dumbo, and it's all been fantasy and it's all been cartoony, if you will. This is Disney's first attempt at an animated feature that has to deal with real life.
Yeah.
And, you know, albeit that man is definitely in the film, he's just off camera doing nefarious things.
Yeah.
And when I mean nefarious, I'm talking about
Things on fire and
clearly,
shooting
you know,
things.
clearly talking about hunting and clearly talking about like lighting fires and just being a nuisance, if you will.
Yeah.
So
just being...
man plays the villain in this film, everybody.
Yeah.
You know? Sort of like the big elephant was playing the villain in the last one. But neither here nor there. What's really, really cool here is, at least as far as the story goes, is that while it's sad that Bambi's mother is felled by a hunter in the winter scene, Bambi's father takes over, the prince, the great prince, takes over and leads Bambi eventually to safety with his friends, Thumper and Flower, and they are able to continue their youth,
their friendship
and development and friendship towards, you know, adolescence, when we see the next scene where we get to Friend Owl and the talk of Twitterpation, which is a really cool scene.
It's funny.
So it is definitely a coming of age story,
right?
You know, we get to see Bambi from the time he's a very young fawn all the way up to where he takes the title of Great Prince of the Forest. From his dad. So
which is cool.
It's a really, really, like Zach says, it's a very beautiful film.
It is. And the layout, how they started as you know, a baby fawn, all the way to where he becomes the great prince of the forest.
So why are they the great prince?
The great
Lion the King.
Right. So
he's the king of the jungle, not the forest.
In a way, yes. So as described in the book, in the book, that the great prince is the protector of the forest. That he is entrusted the responsibility of protecting all the other animals of the forest. And I guess it's because of the majestic nature of a stag. In this case, a white-tailed deer, the eastern white-tailed deer, to be precise, because this actually takes place in the state of Maine, right? In the northeast part of the United States. Anyway, that all being said, so Bambi's dad, the great prince, is the protector of the animals of the forest. And that's his job. His job is to make sure they're safe and protected and everything's going great. Now, there's a couple plot holes, because I'm like, wait a minute. How does a prey animal be the great protector of the forest? I don't really quite understand that. Normally, you would think great protector, you would think like a mountain lion or a bear, right? Or even like a moose. You know what I mean? Like, you want to talk about great animals of the North Woods, there's no greater animal than a moose. I'm going to tell you that right now. You know, when you got literally a 3-meter antler spread, you know, with an adult bull moose.
Inches from my window.
No comparison with no eastern white-tailed deer. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Yeah.
No comparison at all.
No.
Maybe a meter antler spread with the biggest of specimen. You know, whereas you got a 3 meter spread on a bull moose. But hey, neither here nor there. I'm gonna let them have their liberty with the book. I mean, I haven't read the book. Maybe I should get off my lazy butt and do it. Probably will one of these days, and we can revisit it if we have a fancy to, whatever. But I don't know. I mean, I like the film. I think the film's great.
Yeah, it's like he
in both story and technical achievement.
Yeah, because in the book he's a what do you call it?
A mule deer.
Yeah, different deer.
He's a mule deer of the West. Absolutely.
Because in Europe is a European deer, because Disney decided to use the other the one that's, what did he say, from Arrowhead or something like that?
Lake Arrowhead, which is a mule deer.
So he uses that rather than, but no, it's a white-tailed deer.
But
right?
they finally, the evolution of it, Bambi is a white-tailed deer by species. The Great Prince is a white-tailed deer.
Yeah.
Bambi's mother is a white-tailed deer. Yeah, they're all white-tailed deer. Pauline, Bambi's eventual mate, is also white-tailed deer. Absolutely.
Yeah, but in the book it's a mule.
But in the book, they're mule deers.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because the book takes place in the West, not in the East.
Or wait, hang on. Let's see.
At least that's what I'm reading from the production
It says that the character is based on a mule deer from Arrowhead.
From Arrowhead, California.
So it's a okay.
Which are common in Western North America.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. He's a deer.
He's a deer.
All right, Jace, what's next?
We talk about releases or
That's what I was just about to say. When was it released? I want to work out when I saw it in the cinema.
Yeah.
This is one of the first movies that I remember seeing in the first Disney movie I ever saw was 101 Dalmatians. So this, I think, was the second one that I saw.
Right. So, as we said, it premiered in London on August 8th, 1942.
Didn't watch it
and then premiered in the United States at Radio City on August 13th, 1942. And eventually it earned, during the war, it eventually earned $2,955,000 American dollars, $1945.
Wow.
So, but the re-releases go as follows: 1947, 1957, 1966, 1975, 1982, and 1988.
Well, I must have seen it in 75 then.
I think that's
That means I would have been
when I was a kid, because I went and saw this with my sister.
And it clearly made more money as we go along with re-releases.
Yeah.
And literally, it's considered to be the second highest grossing animated movie of all time after Snow White.
Yeah.
It's no wonder
I could see that.
So total revenue in 2024 dollars is $267 million.
Wow.
So not bad with an investment of $850,000.
Yeah.
Not bad investment at all.
No. I can see why it's made that much money in the box office over the years. I can see why it's done so well. It's the second highest grosses.
Let's talk about that. What did you like and not like, and Zach?
I mean, it's. I mentioned it before. Like the backgrounds was a real standout for me, but just the story as well of getting them to be all friends and Bambi learning all these different things. It was. I forgot how long that section of the movie was. And I kind of forgot about the back end of the movie until I watched it again. I was like, oh yeah, he becomes the great prince of the forest. I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, it's almost like two movies, kind of.
It's almost like two movies in one. Yeah.
There's a lot that I forgot that I assumed happened, but I was like,
I
wait,
al-
what?
I always,
That did?
yeah, I always remember the scene of Bambi's mum being shot, but I always thought in my mind that you actually saw it happen,
Nope.
but you don't
Yeah.
see it happen.
It's
No.
all insinuation.
Yeah. So
See, and the only thing I remember about the movie is when they were kids playing.
that's
and
what I
the
remember.
fire.
Yeah.
That's all I remember. I was only 5 when I saw that.
Yeah.
Right.
So
See, I
that's
forgot
all
about the
remember.
fire. I remember them being kids and them all playing together, Thumper, Flower, and all that.
Yeah.
And then I remember Bambi's mum dying, and then that's all I remember.
Yeah,
from it when
and
I was
see,
a kid.
and for some reason I forgot about the whole shooting thing. That I thought she died in the fire.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when I rewatched it this last time and seeing that she was actually shot by a hunter. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember that. I just remember the fire and like I said, I was only 5, so I don't remember.
Yeah. Now the fight scene was quite intense, I think.
Yeah.
Very I felt like I didn't like, and then when the fighting scenes with the hunting dogs as well.
Oh,
that
right.
That was quite cool as well. The way that was animated and it was cool. Yeah. There's quite a lot I like about this movie. But I don't think there was a whole lot that I didn't like. To be fair, it is beautiful. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah.
The April showers animated scene with the raindrops.
Yeah.
Like something else. I remember that's probably the bit I remember most from watching it as a small child. Is that bit?
Yeah.
Not the fire. Not the. It's that bit.
See, I remember listening to April Showers a lot when I was a kid. Like that was always on repeat, like with like a Disney CD that I had. April Showers was always one that was always helped me to sleep. April Showers, my mum said when I was a little baby.
To me, it's kind of up there with the dancing scene in Snow White for the complexity of the imagination.
Oh,
or Pinocchio, where Geppetto's like looking for him, and the horse and track carts going along in the rain. It's like,
but it is though because it was all so synchronized so well.
Yeah.
With you wouldn't nowadays you wouldn't think of them that you can easily do that, but back then. That must have took
individual
hours and hours and hundreds of attempts to get it just right. When nowadays
Bambi for me is like a modern version of a coming to age film, because you see them as kids growing up. They go through puberty together. They settle down and they come out the other side. They have to go through all the troubles of life. And then they make it out the other side. Okay, it's quite deep.
There was a lot of nature stuff in this one.
Yes, there is. Yeah,
there was hardly any, and during that time, there's hardly any talking or anything. It was just nature stuff with the music and everything. And then that's when you can understand the whole Fantasia thing with the music and the flowing of the water and the rain and the storm and all that.
Yeah. It's definitely one of my favorites from the classic. It probably is my favorite out of the classic animated movies.
I always forgot.
Am I killing it again?
I always forgot Bambi. The Bambi actually did speak, because he didn't speak for a long time in the beginning of the movie.
He was a baby.
I know that. I get that.
Bird. But it was Thumper that taught him to speak.
Yeah, it was.
It wasn't Mom. It was Thumper that did.
Thumper.
Thumper. Yeah.
Which leads to my favorite scene of the movie is the ice skating scene.
Oh, I love that.
That is absolutely fantastic. How Thumper and Bambi are able to navigate and do that big old power slide, you know, in tandem together.
Yeah,
and then crash. Absolutely my favorite scene of the film.
It's amazing to think. Okay, so how did they think about the movements of each character during that scene? How did they were able to draw? Okay, his leg is going to go there. His his head's tilted this way, and
Yeah.
Do you think they watch kids trying to learn how to ice skate to kind of get the inspiration of how?
Actually, there's actually a production note on it. So let me get it real quick. Because yes, I am.
They're not going to stick a baby deer and a bunny rabbit.
No, certainly not. Certainly not.
Toss him into the ice and let him skate.
Draw this quick. Draw it.
Chase, are you okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Just letting you guys talk.
No, you're like you're.
My eyes like it's dog fur in my eye or something.
Okay. Yes. So, although there were, I'm quoting from the notes. Although there were no humans in Bambi, live action footage of humans were used in one scene. The actress Jane Randolph and Ice Capade star Donna Atwood acted as live action references for the scene where Bambi and Thumper are on the pond. The animators learned a lot about animals during the film's production, giving them a broader spectrum of animation style to be used in future projects.
That's cool.
End quote.
Yeah.
So clearly it was Randolph and Atwood that had provided the models
right
for what was about to happen in that sequence.
That's cool.
Yes.
Yeah. I wonder if they have any footage of that. That'd be actually pretty fun to watch that.
Probably on the extras from the DVD or the Blu-ray.
So we can get to that with the DVD. So there's this thing called Disney Second Screen copyright, and what that means is it's a feature which is accessed via computer or an iPad app download, which syncs with a Blu-ray. And it allows you to follow along, interacting with animated flipbooks, galleries, and trivia while watching the film, which has the special features of the making of and the technical images. Right?
Oh, wow. A website though, or was it a download from
It's an app.
Oh, so that might not be available anymore.
Might not be. They might have terminated it.
Wonder if it's on.
And also another cool thing is that. Bambi is the first film to be dubbed into the Arapaho language of the Native American tribe.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And something that Disney started doing in the 1990s, they've translated 3 films into native languages. The first being Bambi into Arapaho. The second film being Finding Nemo, which was translated into Navajo. And the third being Moana, which is translated into Hawaiian.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that's really cool that Disney, again, forward thinking, is making these films available to indigenous populations.
Yeah.
So they can enjoy it in their own language instead of having to watch it in English with the subtitle.
Right.
Yeah. Which is cool. That's awesome.
When I think back to the movie, the 3 things that stood out was the ice skating, the fire, and the mother not getting shot on screen. But I knew she got shot.
Right.
Those are the things that always stood out to me. I don't remember Bambi getting older.
Yeah, no, that's another thing. I don't remember that either.
Yeah. Like you were saying, Jay, it's like 2 movies in one.
Yeah. And obviously, I've watched it a few times. It's just, never really paid attention to that second part as much as I did,
as much as the first part.
I do now,
Yeah.
So, and that's another thing. We'll talk about this a little later. But your shirt, all the merch that I've seen is just Bambi as he was little.
Everything shows him as born Bambi.
He's the Prince of the Flowers. Yeah, I haven't seen any merch with him being the Prince of the Flowers.
No.
Absolutely.
And same with Thumper and the Flower.
Right.
They're all little kids.
Right. And I think that's why it plays into why we don't remember him growing up.
Yeah, growing up.
There's no.
Because this is the image.
Getting Mandela effect.
Heck, it's the image that's in our corner right now.
Yeah.
Is him as a fawn, not as a.
Unless you watch this movie regularly, it's like the Mandela effect. You never think of him being older. You forget that once his mother's been shot and his dad comes to collect him and says, "Don't worry, I'm going to take care of you." You then sort of switch up to their adolescence and they're growing into sort of adults.
Yeah.
You forget about the second part of the movie. It's almost as though it kind of stops.
Yeah.
Well, but I remember the fire, and
yeah.
I don't seem to remember him bashing with the other deer.
Yeah, I don't remember that either.
Yeah.
Well, like again, that was only 5, so I
want to say
but you watched it recently to review it, so.
Well, yeah, that of course I remember that. Yeah. But beforehand, I don't remember any of that.
Yeah,
like I said, all I remember was the missed kids and the fire.
Right.
Yeah.
So the combat with Rano, who is the other buck, trying to compete for title of Prince of Forest, right, is right before the fire scene.
Right.
Yeah.
So and of course, Bambi defeats Rollo in combat, and thus,
so
thus Feline is now bonded to Bambi.
So where did that name Bambi come from? I mean, I know it's from the book, but
it's from the book, right?
But where did that author come up with that name?
See, I always thought it was
why Bambi?
I thought it was a play on from like Bambino, which means like child in Italian, I think. Yeah. Bambino.
Right. So it actually it's the etymology of the word Bambi or name is it's actually Yiddish.
Oh, is it Yiddish? Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's Yiddish, and it's slang for a baby.
Oh, okay. Cool.
In Yiddish. At least that's what I'm reading right now.
Right.
Huh.
And as Steve alluded to a few minutes ago, this was actually it actually was published in Austria first.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Oh, the book
before it was translated into English.
Yeah.
And
it's actually a parable in the book.
Yeah, it's a roe deer.
Yeah, which
and
is
it's a parable.
typical to
that's
what we get in Europe. Yeah. That's our deer.
Right,
we get them. They're all over the gaff over here. We get them everywhere.
And,
Richmond Park in London is full of the bloody things.
Anytime I've ever seen deers is when I'm playing golf.
Yeah.
Walking across the fairway.
Nice. One of the other scenes that always stuck out that I remember when they showed it in the trailer was Thumper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why they call me Thumper.
Yeah. That laugh too. His little laugh is
absolutely.
I always remember his quotes as well.
Can't say something nice, don't say nothing at all.
What did your daddy say? My daddy said, always say something nice. I don't say nothing at all.
And actually, it's Thumper that has a bigger presence at the North American parks than Bambi himself. Like I'm sure Steve and Jason can help me out with this one. Back in the mid-'80s, when Disneyland first started experimenting with special event periods, not just nights, but entire weeks-long or months-long periods of time, like with the State Fair and with the Year of a Million Dreams and these other promotions to get visitors into the parks. They had, during the Easter time, they had the Thumper's Easter egg hunt.
Yeah.
And you would get a card or whatever at the gate when you entered the park, and you had to go on this Easter egg hunt looking for Easter eggs. And God, it's been 40 years, so
I don't remember that.
Hazy.
They still do them. They had them.
But
It's not Thumper.
No, but not Thumper. Oh, I mean, there's a Thumper egg, but it's not just.
Thumper is the pattern for the Disney Easter Bunny.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So we've all seen the Disney Easter Bunny stylized rabbit with the Thumper-like appearance, but instead of being light fawn in color, the Disney Easter Bunny is actually white, Snow White to be precise.
Yeah.
But it's literally a carbon copy of the Thumper costume, albeit in a different color.
Yeah.
And stylized with a top hat and a vest and a bow tie and what have you.
Like a typical chocolate.
One of those paws chocolate bunnies.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I thought that was really cool, at least that while there isn't an attraction in any of the Disney parks worldwide, at least the legacy of Thumper and the Easter Bunny carry on and remind us all that, yes, Bambi does have a park presence, albeit in a limited capacity.
He used to be a regular meet in Disneyland Paris, but they still get him out on
special occasions.
On special occasions, yeah. Easter, you meet them both.
Oh, I'm sure.
That's cool. That's cool.
So, okay, well, we talked about what we like, and is there anything you guys didn't like about this?
I think maybe there was
I didn't like that trailer. I didn't like that trailer. There it is.
Yeah, that trailer was. Yeah, there you go.
I don't know. The parts of the nature scenes were rather long, at least to me.
Yeah, it's like it didn't know if it wanted to be a musical or not.
Yeah, it was like teeter-tottering back and forth, going, okay, are we Fantasia or are we an animated?
Yeah.
You know,
I have a theory about this, actually. I have a little theory about this because I've been doing a lot of thinking over the last couple of days about this movie, like a lot of thinking. And my theory is that this is what's going to inspire Walt Disney to start the True Life Adventure series, is this production of this film.
Right.
And we know about The Living Desert, which will premiere in 1946, albeit we don't talk about it on Reanimated because it's live action. But the point is that I believe this film is the genesis for the True Life Adventure series because it's focused on nature and the beauty of it.
When did that series start?
Like I said, 1946.
46.
With The Living Desert, which wins the Academy Award for Best Subject, Live Action Short Subject.
Okay.
Nice.
I think because this was supposed to have been made before Fantasia, because it was supposed to be a second movie.
Yeah, the second one. Yeah.
That's why it's more. That's why it's the way it is. Yeah, Snow White-ish, but with the musical.
Yeah. So they must have had the plan to go for the main story, but then after Fantasia was like, with Fantasia might as well. We'll try and blend it together, see what we can come up with.
And remember that
I prefer this to Fantasia for the. I know because it's got original music in, and I think the music blends really well with the whole nature scenes. Whereas with Fantasia, it's more not mashed together. That's the wrong word, but it's more like the animation was made to go with the music. Whereas this feels more natural.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
And you've already given your opinions on classical music, so I totally understand.
Yeah, I do not like.
Respect.
I love Bambi. Oh my god, which was probably weird because I hate classical music and I don't like some of the other older style of animation. But I love Bambi. I don't know what it is about Bambi.
The story.
I adore it. I think it's amazing.
No, Bambi's a great film. I agree. You're 100%.
Like you say, the music goes really well with it, so it's kind of like even like the instrumental, the scores. It's just
feels like the storm.
It's right.
The way the
storm,
the music matched with the storm.
Yeah,
it kind of
right.
kind of like described the storm.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah.
Like there's a sense of danger and
yeah.
And in that sense, it was individual. It was like you didn't need a whole lot of words to describe the story.
The
music was doing it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I kind of like that idea. It was kind of it's neat.
Like considering how old is this movie? When are we talking? 1940?
1942.
1942.
42. What's that? A billion years old now.
That's
83 years old.
Yeah. 83 years old.
Yeah.
And it's still better. See, I pronounced it properly. Better than some animated movies that are created today.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I would agree 110%.
Especially the new Mickey Minnie. I hate that.
Oh, don't get
the druggy Mickey Minnie, Goofy.
Made to be that way.
Oh, you mean the Ren and Stimpy?
There you go.
That's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't stand that animation.
See, I love the
just
stop
not
motion,
nice.
the current stop motion stuff a lot. So yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing that stood out to me rewatching it that I don't remember at all was when the bird's like, "Don't go, and goes in the
Oh yeah.
like it's just
I'm
like
gonna do it. I just can't take it
that just wouldn't
anymore.
happen today. Much like the drinking and smoking and all that crap. But
it's just the whole scene where they're talking about, when the owl's telling them about women. It's just like, what?
It's really funny.
Yeah.
He's Twitter page.
Yeah.
like he's like a dark secret.
Yeah. Behind his wing.
Yeah. I don't know. Do we need to get into what would you change about it then, if you could?
Nothing.
Yeah.
I want more park presence.
Well, hang on. Not that yet. Just the movie in general.
Sorry. The movie. No, I wouldn't change a darn thing. Other than that trailer.
I don't think.
Other than the
trailer.
The trailer's garbage.
Yeah, trailer's rubbish. Well, no, I don't think you can change anything about this movie. It's gorgeous. It really is. It's done so well.
Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't change anything.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird, huh?
Yeah.
Because I don't think it's absolutely perfect, but I wouldn't change anything.
No.
Like, if I could,
there is
I don't know what I would do.
Movie that's perfect. Yeah. Even Star Wars.
Oh, there are a couple. Fantasia being one of them.
Yeah.
I'll die on that hill. I have to.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
You carry on, mate.
And I will.
All right. Before we get to theme park stuff, then, would kids, do you think, would enjoy this today?
So
absolutely.
I think
I watched it with my 3 grandchildren, and they got bored again.
Yeah, I could see certain parts of the movie where they get bored. But again, how old are your grandkids?
My grandkids are 11, 10, and 9.
Yeah. I think this movie is right on that cusp of the 9, 10-year-old.
Right.
Yeah.
Anybody, all the kids below that age, I think, would probably enjoy it
better.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
Did they get all the way through the movie, though?
Yes.
Did they enjoy
because I bribed them. What?
Did they like once the action started happening?
They got a little freaked out in that fire.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got a little freaked out.
I think that's why I remember that so well.
They also got a little freaked out with the combat, and they got a little freaked out with the mother sing. So,
right.
Yeah, they didn't like those parts, but they loved the whole, youth portion of it.
Yeah.
They loved the first part. They didn't love the second part. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because when my kids were small, my boy Jack, the middle one, he's the same age as Zach is, but he's older than Zach just. But when he was sort of smaller, around the sort of 6, 7, 8 mark, he loved the back half of the movie. He thought it was cool. He liked the fire. He liked the fighting. He thought it was epic. He was like, this second bit's much better than the first bit. He thought the first bit was stupid. And he doesn't like anything to do. He didn't like anything to do with kissing. He was Cusco, like no kissy, no touchy when he was like that age. But,
you got cooties.
He enjoyed it. Whereas them,
he wasn't Twitter-pated.
When they were kind of that age, loved the first bit. Thought that it was great. Didn't like the second half. It was weird. But,
See, you got girls and boys.
Yeah, they were split.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Whereas I liked all of it, but weird.
Scene is going off.
Oh.
Speaking of,
I don't know if it would be relevant for, I guess, middle children today. Probably not. Younger children, obviously the first half. Older children, obviously the second half.
Yeah.
So, there you are.
Yeah.
It's a bit more like, I think kids will either love it or they'll be like, oh, well, this is boring.
Yeah.
But then most Disney movies, or most older classic Disney movies are very much like that. The kids that love it will probably end up growing up to be Disney adults.
And you think about it too, the animations of today, everything is like boom, 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 super fast, and screen here, screen there, and it's like flashing.
Right. So that's like something with my grandson. My grandson is 10 years old, and my grandson doesn't like cel-drawn animation at all.
Yeah.
I have to bribe him to watch movies with me.
Because it's slow.
Now, but it's really weird. See, he loves Bluey. Like, he can't get enough of Bluey. And Bluey's traditional cel animation.
Yeah.
But you cannot keep him away from CG. Like, he loves all CG animation.
Yeah.
Like, so like...
Yeah, but see, is that...
Princess of the Frog, Rapunzel, Frozen 2, Cars, Toy Story, Finding Nemo, all that stuff. Can't get enough. You know what I mean? But like, try to show him Dumbo, forget it. He's out.
See, then again, you're looking at the newer style of animation where, like I said, it's like quick, short little blips,
jump cuts. Right.
Yeah, and their attention span is not like it was when we were growing up, where you have to sit and just watch the thing instead of doing this, and listening to all that. So
even now, when like, the older classic animations, I see things that I might have watched a movie like 10, 15, 20 times, but you watch it and I'm like, I didn't notice that before.
Yeah,
just because it's just, I don't know.
Well, Steve, with all this bad talk about Fantasia, after this, I'm going to go watch Dance of the Hours because I can't. There you go.
I didn't say anything bad.
It's all good. It's all good. I'm no judgment.
No, like I said, there's the scenes in Bambi that have the music that flows with the storm and nature and stuff.
So there's someone else who enjoyed the movie. If it'll go. Here, I'll play it this way.
All right.
Cena. You okay? Tina. No, I'm crazy.
I'm glad.
Did you see yourself?
I'm glad Kalia didn't see that because she's asleep on my bed now.
All right, that was a horizontal thing, so you only saw the middle. But,
well, you can see Tabitha. Tabitha didn't stir at all.
Yeah,
she's just kind of like chilling right there. Yeah.
I just thought it was funny.
She just because of the dogs on it in the dog bit.
Yeah.
But so the Xena, so like with Kalia, you can have animation of movies or people when it's animals or people. So when she sees an animal, she knows and she starts barking at it.
Yeah.
And then when it's a person, she doesn't do anything. It's I was like, how do you know that that's an animal?
But she'll see like a pig or a cow and she won't do nothing. But she sees a dog or a cat.
Oh no, Kalia would start barking at any animal. Like, how do you know that's you've never seen a cow in real life or a pig or whatever? How do you know that?
Yeah, I don't know.
How'd you know?
I'm dreading when we watch 101 Dalmatians because my dogs are gonna go crazy.
Yeah.
Because if they hear barking, I'm surprised that Swift didn't come in when she must be asleep. Because if she'd have heard Xena barking, she'd have gone rushing out thinking it's next door's dog.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
She never comes in here and Claire barks. She never comes in here to see what the noise is. She instantly goes outside because she thinks it's the dog outside. Stupid dog. Which is hilarious.
All right. Now let's get into merch theme park. Lewis.
Right. I definitely want to see more Flower and Thumper merch. They do have Thumper merch on Amazon Prime on Demand, just like the Bambi. But
stuffed animal.
but I want to see.
The only thing.
Here's an idea.
I definitely want to see more apparel.
Put them in the Flower and Garden Festival.
They do have them in the Flower and Garden Festival.
And they do.
Oh, do they?
They have they have topiary at both.
No, I mean merch.
Oh, yeah. That was
merch at the Flower and Garden.
Didn't they have? I'm pretty sure they had a flower.
The only
I might be imagining it, but I'm sure I saw.
Are those baby things where they're in a blanket?
Yeah, that
they
looks
have
like a
Thumper
leaf.
and Flower and Bambi in a little. What do you call it?
You can get those.
I don't know what they're called.
Adorables?
No, they're the baby ones where they're
in a blanket. They're like wrapped in a blanket. They're for babies.
I know you're talking about. I just don't know the name.
I don't know the name.
Actually, Flower and Garden. Why don't they just use Flower as the mascot?
Flower's the mascot. Agreed.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
And if anybody's out there from Walt Disney, be like, yeah, you heard it here first. Like,
I'm sure.
You have Flower for that.
Flower
you have Figment for the other.
Yeah.
Isn't there another Flower and Garden? The arts and
there's wine and
wine.
garden.
Food and wine. Yeah.
Food and wine. Yep.
Yeah.
You have
it also features a lot of art
from Disney. Yeah. Who's the one that drinks all the wine in Disney?
It's not me.
A Pinocchio guy.
Oh, Dionysus drinks all the wine in Fantasia.
That's it.
There you go.
You can have Ratatouille because he cooks.
Right.
Yeah.
He does. They do use him for food and wine.
Yes.
Oh, do they? Well, there you go. I haven't been to one. So.
Just another excuse to come on down, Jason.
I'm trying.
Excuse to come on down.
I first have to make it to our May thing,
of course,
which is booked. So
there's
good.
They do a little bit of merch at Paris, but not a lot. But it's all plushies, obviously.
Yeah, and that's
the cop out. That's the easiest thing.
We need apparel. I need a Bambi hoodie.
It might be. I could have sworn I saw a T-shirt over there. Not in the park, but at World of Disney.
Tell you where I see a lot of like Bambi merch and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't know if you guys have it over there, but Primark, they do a lot of like Bambi stuff. There's one in Orlando now, isn't there?
Yeah,
Primark. Never heard of
Primark. Well, funny you mentioned it. So the exchange, which is like the military exchange system, has a lot of baby stuff featuring Bambi and Thumper and Flower and all them.
Baby stuff,
like
Bambi.
For like infants and babies, absolutely. But like anything a toddler and above, forget it. It's a desert.
Yeah.
And like I said, we want big kid sizes, like my kid sizes, like extra large. Please.
I like how Zach is doing the pose right now. So
it means business.
What kind of like theme attractions or anything? Because I don't think there's anything right now.
So I think what would be really cool and what you could do really on the cheap is do like a nature trail at Walt Disney World, at Paris, possibly.
I would do a
Hong
dark
Kong.
ride.
And you could incorporate like live animals in your nature trail, and it would be really low cost. I mean, no more than $50,000. And
we used to have one in
a 3-acre nature trail. Like Discovery Island at
it's a petting
World
zoo, isn't it?
Was huge, and then we had Big Thunder Ranch, where you could actually pet like white-tailed deer.
Yeah, and they could do that easily at Fort Wilderness.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
For sure.
I know it's not quite.
Or they could reopen Discovery Island.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Zach can have his cat out there.
Yeah.
On a leash. 50 cents, pet my cat.
Yeah.
Sounds wrong.
I said cat.
Animal
Indeed. No, we heard what you said, Steve.
In Animal Kingdom.
What was that?
They've already got most of the animals that are featured in Bambi at Animal Kingdom, so it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, then why don't you have a featured section where they have deer and whatever that you can look at and possibly pet there?
I would do
like a petting zoo, exactly. Yeah.
At Disney,
there is no petting zoo out there, right?
Ride.
No.
They bring out like a bird once in a while or something, but can't touch it.
Do a dark ride with the thunderstorm and everything.
Yeah, that would be cool.
And the fire scene.
And the fire scene. Yeah.
Oh, you have like a four, what do you call it, fourth dimension, where you can...
Yeah, you feel it.
You get the mist from the rain.
Yeah.
Oh, like a Ratatouille. Right.
Right.
Like Ratatouille.
And this one, you can actually use screens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
And you could make it like stupid cold for the ice skating scene.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And a lot of people would like that in the summertime.
Yeah. Make it a trackless dark ride like Mickey Minnie's.
If they put something like that in at Paris instead of this dumb
Frozen.
stupid Lion King water flume ride that we're not going to be able to use because it's going to freeze half the year.
Well, don't just make it a walkthrough.
Alice in Wonderland BMX Spectacular, what?
Oh, don't even go there.
Yeah, exactly. Let's put some Bambi stuff in DLP. I agree.
BMX.
A Bambi BMX extravaganza.
Hey, if they put the Alice in Wonderland in, which is like as far removed from BMXing as skateboarding,
It's a petting zoo, and then you got to look out for the guys not riding the bikes.
Bambi's jumping over you with his bike.
And the rollerbladers that do
Disneyland Paris, they could fit in a Bambi dark ride. Go down like a storm.
The problem is
they got plenty of
not
land
a
at
popular
DLP.
IP right now, so
no.
Yeah.
I'm willing to bet they probably have some live action thing planned or something. So
they're bound to revamp Bambi.
Right. So so believe it or not, there was production notes on the integrated CG version that has been in development hell since 2016.
I didn't even know about that.
And it's not going anywhere soon. Anywhere soon. No.
Shouldn't.
So it's like I said, it's been in development hell. It's still in development hell.
They should leave it there. Why break something? It ain't broken.
Just
I don't know why they do it.
New ideas.
There you go.
There is a Bambi 2, but
yes.
Yeah, Bambi 2.
And that was direct to video in the United States.
I never even seen it, so
no, I haven't.
It's really not 2 per se. It's more of a 1.5, like Lion King 1.5, where it literally Bambi 2 takes over from the mother death scene, and it's about the relationship between the great prince and the young prince. And it's a relationship between father and son, and how the great prince teaches the young prince how to become the great prince.
Does he ever pick up
really
the
what the
misfit
film's all
toys and goes with Santa?
Well, Yukon Jack does make a cameo.
So it's that whole gap where he comes back and he's older.
Yes.
And, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's kind of what the whole film's about.
That
Never even knew it.
To be fair.
Now that way they could do whatever the hell they wanted because it doesn't have it in the movie. So
yeah.
Right. It's off screen. Exactly.
Yeah.
So you could literally probably take that chunk and right in the middle of the movie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Except the animation will look different, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Yeah, because it was made by the B team.
Well, I mean, the like I said, the background stills on here, the trees in the beginning.
Yeah.
I thought it was the first scene. I was like, "Is that a real tree?" Like it took me.
Yeah.
So somebody has some freaking talent, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, that guy that you said, I'm guessing.
Well, yeah, Wong, and let me bring it up. Yeah, Wong and Day were the people that did backgrounds on it. So yeah, they were clearly well in advance of their time as far as realistic flora animation.
Yeah.
One day
they used the same. They used that same machine, right? That they used for
Control thing. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of these background scenes were again multi-layered. So were they painting on glass?
Yes.
Probably.
Yeah, I would
That's
say
traditional background.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cell or not cell, but
background animation.
No, but even like in the movies, matte painting. That's what I thought.
Oh, matte painting.
All
Yeah.
done in glass. It's kind of similar.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
All right.
Well, in the 50s, they transitioned to lucite, but I get what you mean. Yeah.
Right. Matte painting, you're painting to match something, whereas they're just painting to have something.
Yeah.
So, but it's still the same thing.
Yeah.
All right.
Are you rating these guys?
Last thoughts before we rate? Anybody?
No, I think we're good.
Yeah.
All right. I will go ahead and start, I guess. I give it a 5 all the way.
No.
There's bad parts of it, but nothing drastic.
No.
Like I said, I don't think I would change anything. So
Yeah.
it's solid 5.
Lewis?
4.9. 4.9.
4.9.
Okay.
Chaz?
5. I love Bambi.
Yeah.
Zach?
I'd give it ominous. I'd give it a 5. I'd give it a 5 as well. It's beautiful. It's really, like I say, I wouldn't change anything about it. It's it's just gorgeous the way it blended with the music and the story and everything like that. It was just it's good. It's a great movie.
Cool.
And
Steve.
I'll do 4.5.
4.5.
Yeah.
You're
Nice.
out of here.
That's the highest score he's given to a film so far.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
Snow White was what I give Snow White a 4, right?
You did, yeah.
Yeah.
No,
So-
did you not give The Reluctant Dragon high? I thought you did.
You
I
gave that a
remember.
4 as well.
I
Oh,
did.
did you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you gave that a 5. Oh, I do.
I don't give 5s. Not yet.
5.
I haven't reached one that I.
He hasn't reached Tron yet.
Yeah.
Another Jungle Book.
Yeah.
We haven't seen the Jungle Book yet.
So 4, 5
You could
for
still
me.
like a movie and not have it compared to another one.
No. I'm not comparing it. I'm seeing my interest in the movie. Like Dumbo is a 3 because I don't need to watch that anymore. But Bambi, if
You would rewatch Bambi?
I would rewatch Bambi.
Yeah. There you go.
There's a lot of things that stand out.
Yeah, there is.
Absolutely.
Especially now watching it again.
And like I said, I haven't seen this since I was 5.
Right.
So seeing it again is like, oh wow, it's like for me it was like watching it all over a new movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I
there's
was
only, like,
actually
clips I remember.
surprised how much I actually enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause I didn't remember a lot of it. And I was like, oh, that's kinda cool.
This series is actually a really nice way of rediscovering
It is
everything we kind of glossed over in our youth.
Yeah, because we're all grown up. We're not going to be like, oh, let's go watch Bambi.
Being
But now
clearly
we watch Bambi.
being seasons being aged. I mean, clearly we're
Seasons,
catching
I like
the things we missed as kids.
Yeah,
And so it's really almost a fresh perspective on these beloved animated classics. Agreed.
Yeah.
So
So it's a really cool experience, not only for you at home to listen to us drone on about this stuff, but to actually be the person in the chair watching the films. It's almost like watching them for the first time.
it is.
So,
And for me,
it's a
that's
treat.
what it felt like.
Definitely a treat.
And if you are watching and you watch the movie, let us know what you think. Comment below.
Yes.
What would you rate it? What
What would you rate it?
different?
What would you change? What did you love?
Yep.
What kind of merch do you want to see?
Exactly. What kind of merch?
What kind of
Or
What kind of experience do you want to see at your local Disney park?
There you go. Let us know. We generally want to know.
Yes.
We do.
We're not
Let
just
us
saying
know.
that. So
No. So what? So this is our Bambi review. What's our next review? It's coming
Victory
up.
through air
in,
power.
Excuse me.
Victory through air power.
Oh, okay. That's
That
the
is
next
our next
one?
review.
Okay.
Yes.
yeah.
And
Then the
then
one after
Saludos
that?
Amigos. And then Saludos Amigos. is
Yeah,
after that.
That's actually next because that came out in 1942 and the Three
Is
Caballeros.
Saludos
came out in
Amigos next and
1944.
then Victory through air
Yeah.
power? Oh, okay. Hold on, wait a
Victory
minute.
3 Air Pro is
Yeah.
1943, I believe.
Okay, wait, I'm looking at it. Yeah, you're right. Saludos Amigos is next, and then followed by Victory through air power. Yes.
Okay.
Sweet.
All right.
Well, that was great. Thanks, Jay. This was a lot
Yeah.
of fun.
Thanks everybody for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe,
Share with your friends and family.
And like I said, comment below. Yeah. And we will see you on the next one.
We'll see you real soon.
Peace.
Have a magical day.